Guys, welcome to my review of Insidious. This is the first movie. I'm doing this because the new installment to the Insidious franchise has come out this Friday. I'm really wanting to see it, but I'm gonna get my two opinions on the first two previous chapters. And this movie, both first chapters are directed by James Wan, but let's talk about the first one for now. This is directed by James Wan and written by Leigh Whannell, who is actually the writer for the current Insidious movie in theaters now. But James Wan's vision, I'm going to stand by, is probably going to be the best vision we'll see. And now, I haven't even seen Insidious Chapter 3 yet, and I cannot wait to. But this is James Wan we're talking about, and he's the director of The Conjuring and both first Insidious movies and Dead Silence. He's very good with his horror properties. In this movie, we have Patrick Wilson, we have Rose Byrne, we have T.Y. Simpkins, we have Lynn Shay, and Leigh Whannell, and a whole bunch of... This is the cast. I'm naming off the cast. We did not know that. This is the cast of the movie. Everybody was well casted. There was no miscasts in this movie. Even the two goofy ghost investigators were pretty well casted, I gotta say, and really fun to watch. Leigh Whannell plays one of the goofy ghost investigators, which I thought they were hysterical and the perfect amount of comedy for this movie. This movie is loaded with very much intense moments. You're not going to go into this movie thinking you're not going to get scared, because I got scared out of my mind watching this movie, and I still do. Some of the scenes still get to me a little bit. There's specific scenes that I won't mention, I won't spoil the movie, but this movie is really about this boy who goes into what we think is a coma. He actually can leave his body, he can leave his physical body and go out of his normal body by using his spiritual body. If that made any sense whatsoever, it's kind of confusing. He leaves his body, he goes around, he walks around, and he thinks they're dreams until he goes into a place that one of the main characters likes to call the further. And you've probably heard this quote, the further. Now we go into the further. Now you go into the further. If you heard that quote, you know what this movie is now. And this boy, he goes into the further, and now it's the whole job. It's the family's job to get the boy out before some other entity takes over his body. And man, some of the images in this movie, you gotta ignore it. That's people mowing their lawns like everywhere. And I'm supposed to be in the further. And there's people mowing their lawns. Anyway, this movie is just really fun. It's really, really goofy. There's a lot of goofy scenes in this movie, but the goofy scenes just have this flavor and tone, just makes this movie really creepy. And it kind of gives you like that, now you're looking around. You're just looking around your house now because, you're wondering, is there someone really here? It really gives you that feeling. I had the feeling all day because I watched this movie again. It really works, and the direction that James Wan took, now the movie has a whole bunch of flaws, but the flaws are they're taken out because of how well made this movie is and how well written it is and how well the dialogue is. As I said, this movie has its creepy tones. Its acting is just very well done. I mean, some points you're like, yeah, well, what can you do? But it's all bashed away and all thrown away by how creepy toned this movie is. I don't ever want to go into the further. It doesn't exist. I know it doesn't, but the movie does such a well job to make you think it could. I love it. I love the idea that it thinks that you could. And when I meant by flaws, I meant some of the dialogue and some of the some of the conversations they have can kind of go mishmash. Some of them can feel like a little cartoony. You know what I mean? And some of the scenes can feel a little bit cartoony at some points, which didn't really take me out of the movie. I still was in the movie full on, but I just knew it was acting at that moment. But I don't think there's any problems. As I said, it's all just thrown over by how creepy toned this movie is, how weird the mythology is, and how great the storytelling is. There's a great storytelling here, and it's working for all the movies so far that I've seen. I walked, nothing how I expected, but you know how it is. Catch y'all later in my next review. Oh yeah, by the way guys, Insidious is going to get an A-. It's a really well-made horror movie with a great cast and with a great direction, great storytelling too. I really all enjoyed it. And guys, as I said, I'll see you in my next review for Insidious Chapter 2. Guys, enjoy your journey into the further.